Let's discuss.
Hey everyone, it's Rachel back again with another video, and though this is not where my setup will be during the video you're about to watch and stuff, I spend part of my time during the week where my filming setup is, filming videos and stuff, and then part of the week somewhere else that's like an hour and a half away from there. And when I got here this week and went to do my editing work, I realized the video I had for the intro of this, which is The Wise Man's Fear, as you probably know, I'm going to do Sunchaser and Sea of Fire in this video from the album Atlas Ruinica, which is out now. I am very excited. I've saved a lot of the singles for the album, which seemed to be the move for me, judging by how things went last year and stuff. But anyway, those will be the two songs I'm checking out. When I got here and checked the intro I had for this video, it was just me dancing for some reason, and then realizing the camera was on. So that very much won't work. I'm gonna check out these two songs. All of the promotional links, support links for The Wise Man's Fear will be in the description of this video. I'm gonna stop talking and we're gonna get straight into it.
Unsurprisingly, production on this, even on YouTube, sounds great. Oh. Woo, those harmonies. I like that a lot. That's super catchy. Vocally driven for sure. But I'll talk again. On to Sea of Fire. Oh shit. That will be stuck in my head for sure. Joe coming through with the going gobble mode. Woo!
No escape, no return. Fire, fire. It's seen, it's heard. Let it burn. Not another soul will live to tell. Fire, fire. It's seen, it's heard. Let it burn.
Wow. The Wise Man's Fear, Sunchaser, and Sea of Fire. Let's discuss. So I will start with Sunchaser since that is the one that I listened to first. These tracks side by side I'm really happy with as well because Sunchaser had, as I had mentioned, like the harmonies vocally. It's a vocally driven track, it feels, but the synths that were used in the song really kind of drive the same style that you're getting vocally there, because I feel like in a lot of their discography you get with the singing and a lot of the choruses, there's almost like a pop reminiscent approach on some of the hooks and things like that, but this, while having that, still I think they didn't really stray away from that with the sound, but there's like this additional feeling with that first track with Sunchaser where it's like, in addition to having, you know, the the strong hook that could almost be like removed from this and put over a completely different genre of music and still work out. I guess that's the best way to describe it. While it has that, like those synths being so expressive, and you know, a lot of the time what I've been listening to lately when it does come to synth, it's sort of more on that side that adds an electronic feel and stuff, whereas this kind of gave the expressive and backing that sort of, if you listen to that part where I mentioned the harmony again and how, I don't want to use expressive again, but that really is the best way to describe how it feels to me. But it just matches up really well with that. Feels like a different approach than I've been hearing a lot lately, which may just be like the way I've been listening to music, the videos I've been making. But regardless, it's sort of like a breath. Words are difficult. A breath of fresh air, but at the same time, it's got. It's not too far off from, you know, when we listen to Sea of Fire, it's like, I'll talk about that when I get to that portion of the outro, but just vocally, when you look at the screams that are in Sunchaser versus some of the stuff that's like towards that breakdown in Sea of Fire and stuff, very different, and used to the advantage of like the mood of the track which they're on. I guess that's the best way. So it's Sunchaser will be one I put on a lot because I just love that sort of, it's not necessarily like a floaty feeling, but some parts of it kind of go in that direction where a lot of it feels more like sort of like a bit of darker expression, if that makes sense. I don't know, that's more like my interpretation of it. But so Sunchaser I really like, that will go on rotation for me, but so will Sea of Fire for different reasons. Not only, I know I already brought up the breakdown, but I try to not do that immediately on songs, but I think that was the best way to compare like the screaming that you get in Sunchaser, which is really why I brought it up first. Normally I try to just in order of the things that struck me about the song, if I can remember them that way. But anyway, so Sea of Fire. The chorus on that one I think would kind of touch on what I was just talking about with like that strong, I don't want to say reliance on the hook because it's got so much else to offer, but I feel like a lot of their choruses and those hooks are something that stick with people after hearing for the first time. So it's, you know, still somewhat fair, but there is so much to hear, like production wise. A lot of times the reason that I mentioned YouTube when I mentioned the production was because YouTube compresses videos to all hell. So a lot of the time, if you're hearing something on YouTube for the first time and it doesn't sound that great, it's better to listen on something else or with a better, you know, with a good pair of headphones and stuff. But even being from YouTube and stuff, it just sounded really well produced. And I'll kind of touch a little bit on that after I go through the Sea of Fire stuff. But so with the chorus, it has that presence of that. So I suppose before that, the main riff on that track, Sea of Fire, I love it. That's gonna be a riff that is stuck in my head super easily. Like when you can walk away and hear it almost exactly in your head after one listen, that is a sign, at least for me in my listening. I just loved that. And then beyond that, what I already mentioned, having that sort of approach with the vocals, the hook from the chorus will be stuck in my head as well. So it's like two different things from the same song that I walk away. I feel like it will sort of be split with those two stuck in my head. Even over having Sunchaser I really liked, and that will be something that gets a lot of revisits from me, but Sea of Fire had the more prominent qualities or whatever, like that main riff and the hooks and the chorus will be stuck in my head for a while. So I think that sort of is overshadowing what I really loved about Sunchaser for right now. And then as I have more time with the album, it may be to where I'll be able to figure out what track is my favorite, because I feel like it just gets into so many different details. So, but the track really starts off with the same energy that it delivers on with that breakdown. As soon as that first verse opened up, I was like, all right, we're not gonna take any time to build that up. Like it just kind of goes in with that energy and then disperses the other elements throughout, which I like. The quality is just so high when it comes to production, when it comes to the things that you're hearing beyond, you know, like I was talking about the synth and Sunchaser, stuff like that really adds to the mood of the song, the soundscape kind of being a bit wider than some of the more straightforward stuff I've been listening to, I guess, but I lean towards stuff that has that way more when I, you know, offline doing my listening to stuff that ends up on my chart. So this will be an album, especially as I had mentioned, not having listened to a lot of the singles as they came out. This is a lot more new material for me than it is for some people, like Sunchaser being new to me when it came out, I think, summer of last year. That sort of thing, it will probably work to an advantage when it comes to this album and how long it stays, you know, on my list is very short right now because it's the beginning of the year. But for example, Aviana last year with their album, I loved the singles as they were and as they came out over time, but when it came to that full album, it didn't really place on my list, or not, I guess didn't really isn't accurate. It did not place on my list, even though I loved it as a whole. If it just kind of fell off when comparing it to stuff that was released differently. So I do think the release approach matters regardless of the details on, you know, why it's released that way. But for me, having not listened to a lot of this, it's new to me, so I don't know how that will play out. I guess I'll be able to speak to that at the end of the year too, because I feel that's a good topic of conversation too, because we're seeing that a bit more, and it probably works better for the bands being able to focus as they're releasing that single and putting out a music video with a band like the Wise Man's Fear, when there's not only what you're hearing, and the music videos have like the story put, you know, to express as well, and then the lore. So it makes sense. And I'm not saying it's not logical, like with Corporation from Aviana last year not ending up on my list. I'm not saying it's not a great album either. I just think it does end up weighing into how some people place the albums at the end of the year and stuff. So anyway, back to Sea of Fire. Very strong presence of that, like, you know, the dependence on the hook and such in the chorus, which I feel like they have mastered that sound really well, so I'm expecting that to kind of keep going further. And the delivery on Fire, some of the stuff in the melody and those harmonies that I had mentioned in Sunchaser were sort of like the other side of the coin for what we get in Sea of Fire, I feel, even though there's still some aspects that... Okay, I'm going to get too involved in comparing them. I'm going to move on from that because it's not super important. But the breakdown, of course, is going to be a topic of conversation around Sea of Fire, I feel, because it's one of the heaviest moments I feel like that I've heard. And again, I haven't heard everything off of this album, so if I'm, you know, might not have heard a song yet, don't spoil it for me if there's anything heavier. But this was one of those moments where I was like, oh wow, this is taken a few different turns in the song, and as being the last real piece of the puzzle in terms of the story and stuff for this album, there was probably some reliance on having, you know, I'm repeating myself again, but like the both sides of the coin, kind of showing what the Wise Man's Fear has to offer from both angles. I think it's expressed very well here because of those things. So anyway, a very long-winded version of my thoughts after one listen to each track, but I have a number of tracks I still need to listen to off of this album, so I'll try to get at least one more video going with my thoughts on the full album once I've heard it and all of that. Let me know what your favorite track off of it has been in the comments. I think my favorite song so far might be Sea of Fire or Where the Sky is Empty. I'm not sure which one. I need to re-listen to both and hear the rest of the album to make my obvious final choice, but I think one of those takes it for me right now. But let me know in the comments what yours is. I will link all of the Wise Man's Fear's social media, the music video I used for Sea of Fire, as well as the visualizer for Sunchaser. All of that will be in the description of this video. Other than that, you can also find my link tree, which will have the link for the new Patreon I just rolled out last week, or maybe it was this week. When you're watching this, it may be last week. So that will be there. I also have the link for the Discord server invites, and that is where our community is based for my channel. There are a lot of really wonderful people in there. We've got music-related conversation unrelated to music, just a lot going on there. So if you're interested in joining the community, checking that out, that will be there. Also my Instagram profile link where I post all music-related content. So any of the links you may need in the link tree in the description. As always, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it.